You've got the agenda in front of you. The first item on the agenda is apologies for absence. Ian?
I've got 4 apologies, Chair. Councillors Cox, Councillors Jarvis, Councillor Keaton, Sarah Keaton, and Councillor Mike Parkin.
Okay, thank you for that. Can be noted. Tim, if you're there, can you put your camera on? Because the standing order say you should have your camera on. Sorry about that. Okay. Then if you go to point 2, declarations of interest. Any declarations of interest? No, if not, that can be noted then, please. And then point 3, public participation. Members of the public are invited to make representation of questions of anything that's on the agenda. Have we got anybody?
Louise is there? I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe she's sitting in.
She's just sitting in, I think. Okay. So then if we move on to the minutes of the monthly meeting held on the 13th of February, you'll see the minutes there. I'll go through each page just to check. Page 1. Page 2. Clerk's report, Chair's report, waste and mumbles. Page 3, financial report for January, to consider draft vexatious request policy, to consider draft SLA agreement with Mumbles Traders Grant Agreement. 4, Mumbles Fest date, powers for culture, tourism and communication, to consider recommendations, community and social committee. 5, questions for Chair of Culture and Tourism, questions for Chair of Environmental. That's it. Okay. Rob Marshall at the beginning of the meeting. No. Okay. So the next item on the agenda is the clerk's report. Have you got a?
No, there's no report this month, Chair. The clerk is.
Can I declare a personal interest in the grant application from Romper Symphony Orchestra, please?
Okay, this we know before. Okay, so then we will go on to the Chair's report. Okay, this month I am pleased to report that I've attended 2 functions representing Mumbles Community Council. The first event was held at the Party Pavilion on the 20th of February, which was a celebration of Heartbeat Trust Wales, where Swansea was recognised as the UK's first defib-friendly city. The event was organised by a Mumbles local, Henry Gilbert, who I know is well known to many of you, and who was also chair of the Heartbeat Trust. During the event, the role of MCC and City and County of Swansea was recognised in supporting the Trust in helping Swansea achieve this status. During the event, it was recounted how we now have over 450 publicly available defibrillators and a further 200 defibrillators within buildings across Swansea. This is far more per head of the population than any other city in the UK. It will make a huge difference in helping to keep people who have suffered cardiac events alive. I think we can all take some pride in the role MCC has played in supporting this fantastic initiative and will help make Swansea the UK's first defib-friendly city and help save lives. On the 3rd of March, I attended the Holy Eucharist and licensing of the new vicar of All Saints Church, the Reverend Canon Hugh Levy. This was a very well-attended event, and it was wonderful to see that the Anglican members of our community come out in such numbers to welcome their new vicar. Talking to Hugh after the service, he informed me that he had previously been the vicar of St David's Church, Morriston, but he had also previously experienced in the Mumbles area as he was curate here some 20 years ago. I am sure going forward we all wish Hugh well in his new ministry and we look forward to building good working relationships with the vicar and congregation of All Saints. Unfortunately, I have to end this report on a negative theme. Yet again, this concerns the unacceptable standard of behaviour of certain councillors. On 2 occasions during the past month, we have had councillors use what can only be described as completely and utterly unacceptable foul language during official meetings. First occasion, this was recorded and a public meetings, so this is now a matter of permanent public record. The second occasion happened yesterday during what was thankfully a closed meeting. There was a representative there from an outside body. Personally, I see no excuse for this sort of behaviour whatsoever. People who use the rather feeble excuse of "I didn't know my mic was on," can I suggest that if you refrain from using such language in what is essentially a public professional situation, you would not leave yourself open to such faux pas. Such professional indiscretion by a small minority reflects badly on all of us as a council and undermines the work many of us, both staff and councillors, are putting into making MCC a professional organisation. We are elected as representatives of our constituents, and I think we are letting them down badly if we cannot maintain what are, let's be honest, the most basic standards of decency and discourse. Okay, that's my chair's report for that month. Any questions, observations? If not, I'll move on to the point 7, which is the financial report for March 2024, which you will find in front of you. Paul, shall I hand over to you, please?
Yeah, thanks, Chair. As you can see from the report, 5 pages of invoices this month, payments this month. I think that's just shows how many events there were going on in February with obviously all the family fun days and all the other events that that get put on. Total expenditure in the month just over 73,000. The Barclaycard purchases are also listed there, just under £400, and income of 30,000, 25,000 of that being a VAT refund from the HMRC. Bank balances at the 5th of March in the 2 accounts were just over £300,000. And budget monitoring to the 31st of January. The table there by committee. Apologies to the chairs of committees. You haven't had your reports yet, but you will have them before next before the committee meetings start next week. Total expenditure to the end of January, just over 61% of the budget. And there's 2 recommendations that the payments made in February are retrospectively approved, and the budget monitoring report to 31st of January is approved. Any questions before the recommendations are discussed?
Any questions from anybody? No. Anybody? Okay, can we go on to the recommendations?
Yeah, just the recommendations then, just to retrospectively approve the payments in February.
All those in favour? Thank you very much.
Thank you. And to the budget monitor report to the 31st of January is approved.
All those in favour?
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, could you get rid of that little box? Sorry. Sorry to be finicky, but like. Okay, so now if we move on to point 8, to confirm councillors' requests to join committees. The first is Councillor Erasmus Finance and Compliance Committee. I need to seek your advice. Have we got vacancies on that committee?
There is 1 vacancy, Chair. I've just checked standing orders, and the maximum per committee is 9, and we're currently at 8 for financing.
Okay.
That's really.
It's re-entering it now.
Hi, apologies.
Okay, thanks for joining. Okay, then if that's the case, anybody got any questions? If not, are we happy to approve that? All those in favour? Yes, thank you very much. And then the next item then is councillor Helen Hunter, Hannah Hunter, sorry. Culture, Tourism and Communication Committee. Unless there's any questions, are we all in favour of that?
Yeah. Welcome.
Thank you, yes. Right, so point 9, report from the Chair of Finance and Compliance Committee.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Chair. The purpose of this is to update members of the council as to what's been discussed at the finance and compliance agenda. Greater detail and information is on Teams. There's a whole package there, but just as a part of it, we have grant applications that were discussed, one of which was the Rhondda Symphony Orchestra, which is performing, excuse me, at All Saints Church. Some of the committee decided there were concerns over the affordability of the ticket pricing. We've since established that the tickets per adult will be £10, and for students and those under 16 will be £5. That was a requirement of the granting of the application. Any comment on that? No.
Okay.
The other application was the Mumbles Yacht Club. Some of you may not be aware that the Mumbles Yacht Club is hoping to develop itself into a water sports facility. And as an interim measure, they've made an application for a grant of £650 plus VAT to enable them to move forward and have some plans done and a sort of feasibility review of it. It was decided or considered that it would be advantageous to help them achieve their aims. The grant initially was for the 650 plus VAT. However, there was an additional application made, which we couldn't really discuss in full because we didn't have all the information. So we requested that a contact be made with Mr. Jeff Bacon of Swansea City Council for the additional information. And that actually was to take into account of actually moving the facility of the Mumbles Yacht Club from where it currently sits to the other side of the road, the same as Verdi's, and they would build or look into possibly building a new water sports facility there. So we've not heard anything back from Swansea City Council, Ian, have we?
Yes, Chair. The clerk was off to do that.
Well, that's right, the clerk is
on leave for 2 weeks, and she hasn't left any messages for me, so I can't provide any further update, I'm afraid.
Yeah, we'll
Yeah, I'd just like to say, because obviously the meeting's recorded and some members of the public here, I'd just like to say it's very early stages with it. And that it's obviously subject to planning, consultation and everything, and it's just an exploratory thing that the club are looking into and not the council themselves.
Yes, the concern was, of course, is that there were no guarantees that the piece of land would be made available to the NYC, whereas the initial application took account of the building which they currently sit in. So that was granted. There was one further grant application, and that was the Sunshine Lotus Yoga, a grant application for £2,500, and that was not granted. I can only reiterate that the greater detail on the last finance meeting, which was the 19th of February, is on Teams. So there's some important information there, which has been provided by Mr. Bynan.
Thank you. Thank you very much for that, Ian.
The recommendations are the next item on the agenda, so
Yeah.
council can vote then.
Yeah, I was just going to say, are there any questions on Ian's report? No. If not, we'll move on to the recommendations then. Are we happy to accept the recommendations from the Finance Committee? All those in favour?
We'll go through all my one, Chair.
All right, we've got to go through.
It's probably easier.
So review of grants policy. All those in favour? Financial risk assessment. All those in favour? Rhondda Symphony Orchestra grant application. All those in favour? Mumbles Yacht Club grant application. Favour. And the Sunshine Lotus Yoga grant application. All those in favour of the turning it down. Okay. Thank you very much for that, Ian.
Are you taking vote against on the last point?
Pardon?
Are you taking votes against on the last recommendation? Because I didn't put my hand up to vote for.
I abstained myself for that.
The last one, basically. The yoga one.
No, actually,
We need to count.
count the votes, is it?
Oh, no, on the last one, that's all.
Okay.
The other one.
So can I take the votes, all those in favour of this last one?
Sunshine.
In favour of refusing it, count the votes?
4.
Yeah.
5, 6.
All those against? 2, 3.
3.
And one abstention.
One abstention.
2.
2.
Abstentions.
Okay. Okay, are we all right to move on to point 11 then, which is report from the chair of the Community and Social Committee.
Hello everybody, as you can see from the backdrop, I'm away from home this evening, so I'm not at home with all of my documents to hand. I've sent in the report to Paul on what we've achieved this month, and I think mostly it's all of the lovely fun days that we put on for the winter fun day. I've just been so well attended, and we really supplied everybody with great variety of things that they love doing. So that's gone really well, and a lovely way to spend the money. The big report is there for you to read. I have a question for Paul. I know that to pick up on the water sports yacht club thing, we had invited the lady who got in touch with us to come and speak to us at the next community meeting, and I was going to invite everybody to come along to that. Unfortunately, they can't come to that meeting, so she's going to try to come the following week. When they're coming in, I'd let everybody know so you can come and talk to everybody or just listen as you will. Ian and I are meeting with her at 10 o'clock on a Friday morning just to try and get things straight as she wants us. Can you not hear me? I can hear somebody talking. Is it because you can't hear me?
No, I can't hear anybody talking, but
okay. So Ian and I are having a chat to her at 10 o'clock on Friday morning. We'll find out what she wants at the meeting, whether she wants to have access to our technology or whatever. And as soon as she comes in to talk to us on community, I'll let everybody know, and then everybody will be invited to come and see what she has to say about it. Ian Scott in the last meeting wanted, this is for Paul asking the question, wanted a breakdown of the contract that we have with Swansea City Council regarding the skate park and the maintenance. He wanted to know specifically how many times the grass is going to be cut. Paul, do we leave that till the next meeting? Have you emailed Ian Scott with the answer, or do you want to answer it now? I don't know how you want to proceed with that.
I can do it now.
Okay.
If I record it for the council, I can reply generally if that's what you want.
It's up to you, Paul, which is most convenient for you to do. I didn't know what path you wanted to take.
can you reply to
Yeah.
just so that after the record what exactly we are?
Okay. The skate park running cost in the current year, 23-24, is 6,500. That's for 3,100 for bin emptying, and that's emptying the bin 3 times a week. Grass cutting is £1,700, and that's for 14 cuts across the year. There's £100 for the ROSPA annual inspection, which is required. There's an amount of £500 in for general maintenance, £800 for graffiti removal if it's required, and £300 for insurance. So that's 6,500. For next year, I've added £500 to that just to cover inflation, and that takes us to the 7,000 that's included in next year's budget.
Thank you, Paul. And things to add to that, there's been no, after that one idiot from Newport came down and apologised and left £50 to clear up his graffiti. There hasn't been any major graffiti at the park since then, so we might want to review that. When Maverick came down for the last ROSPA inspection, and Paul was there as the representative of the council because he had to sign the money over for the last tranche of money, which we had to send to Maverick. We were advised at that meeting that it would be a good time to spray the skate park with a water-based spray that would protect it. And Mumbles Skate Park Association, we've got a roundabout price of about £1,500. Mumbles Skate Park Association is now stepping up, and they are going to pay for that when we have to do it. And that would be an annual cost then. We respray it every year with a water-based covering. So we'll have more details on that by the next meeting, I hope, but that's just giving you a heads up to what's coming on. Can I ask Ian Scott, is that enough information for him on the maintenance of the skate park, or does he need anything else before the next meeting?
I'm perfectly happy with the information that I've received. Yes, thank you.
Jolly good. Okay. Thanks very much for that. I think that's all from me.
Okay,
Can I just say that online we've lost the video from the room?
Yes. I thought it was just me.
Because we can see you perfectly well.
It's almost like you turn the camera off accidentally or something.
So he's just checking on the camera now. It's on. Oh, looks definitely on, and we're laying through it the way. Let me try.
Click on and off.
Yeah, try just putting the camera off and on again. Yeah.
I can't, it won't, nothing's happening. I would be
Is
click.
it on that computer though?
Oh, it should be that computer.
You don't suggest really?
Well, nothing's happening at all if you click on that.
No. Just tap it. Just do it on.
Good.
So. It's not, it doesn't seem to be.
Is the mouse dead?
Moving.
It's moving, isn't it? Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
There you go. Is that any better?
Is that working?
So
No.
There we go.
Is the camera? Is it in?
I can't, it's nothing.
Try the other side of the mouse.
Anything,
Where's the camera physically?
As long as it's not.
There.
Just underneath the little box, just above the plate.
Try sharing the screen and then share a window and then unshare it, see if that resets it
It
maybe.
doesn't seem to be acknowledging up there.
You'd like
No,
Just,
just
well, thank you.
you just guess.
Get in there, Fahid.
No, I don't know. This is
Very more.
Yeah.
You need a million, don't you?
it's nothing's responding on the top bar, is it? At all. Mike's not.
Do you want to try leaving and actually?
Putting the recording time.
Right.
Recording time is frozen as well.
Yeah, we'll have to stop it and start again then.
Yeah. Try leaving.
Or if someone stopped recording, maybe that's what it's. Yeah.
The recording time is still ticking up online.
Yeah.
Frozen on ours.
Us.
Yeah.
So we're not filming. That's what.
Could you leave? Yeah, you'll have to.
I think just tell the members of the public we'll leave and.
Yeah, leave and join.
Yeah.
Sound of this.
So the members of the public hear that, so they've got to rejoin.
Louise didn't respond earlier.
Are we
So-
all doing? Are we all leaving and rejoining? All of us? Okay.
We've all got to leave.
Or will you throw us out?
I'll just shut it down and I might just shut it off and start again. Is that okay?
I'm confused.
Well, we're all still here.
We're all still here. Well, we had another member of the public join. Did that juggle things about a bit?
I didn't think this was going to cause so much faff. I thought they were just going to turn the camera back on and that'd be it.
I know, it would seem to be a simple thing, but obviously nothing's happening.
Do they know we've not gone?
I don't know. They've not gone either.
Well,
They've
it's nice
just
to
gone
see you all.
silent.
I'm in my friend's house, and I had to say to her, if I had to move the camera because behind me was this huge bottle of gin.
Perfect.
Quickly change the
I'm gonna throw it
camera
there
out.
that I think you're still recording.
Well, that's fine. Okay.
It
I've
is,
taken
isn't
it.
it? It's still
I've taken it out
recording.
of shot. Carrie's gone. I can't see you now,
No, I'm
Carrie.
here.
All right.
I'm just, there didn't seem much point leaving my camera on. I might as well have a stretch.
Are we supposed to hang up and join again, or?
No, I thought we were going to get thrown out.
Well, no, the meeting seems to have thrown itself out and left us all here.
Parallel universe.
Yeah, I think we can just carry on without them.
Yeah, I think at this rate, Ed, I'll go make us another gin and tonic and just sit here and drink it.
There's 6 of us, we're quorate.
Okay.
Including one public.
No,
Two public.
six councillors.
2 public. Judith Twining
Oh,
and
2
Louise
public.
Thomas.
Yeah, there's Pam, Rebecca, Tim, Rhian, Helen and me. So we've got 6 councillors.
Rhian, how long did it take you to get your car fixed after smashing the window in?
Oh, hey.
Surprisingly
Hey.
long, actually.
Hello.
Oh, anyway, it's sorted, yeah.
You okay now?
Yay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can see you again.
Thank you.
That on the minutes, the minutes are recorded.
Yeah, we're going to have 2 minutes. Yeah.
Is it recording? Or-
Yes, it said.
Go back to yeah, so just put 2 up.
Just done 2 recordings. Okay, so can I restart the meeting then? So where we were at the end of that report, weren't we? So are there any particular questions about that report? I don't think so. If not, there's no recommendations. So can we move on to the next report, which is the chair of the Environmental Committee? Helen?
Hi, hello. Yeah, thank you. Hopefully everyone's managed to just scan through the report. So it's been a really busy couple of months. We've had the Green Heroes meeting, I think it was in February, really well attended, full house. You know, the reason we're running these is to bring people together who want to work together on these issues. We amplify our messaging, what we're doing. We encourage volunteering. So those events, which are every quarter, are a really good way to drive people to the work that MCC is doing. So full house, the event went well. The main thing to flag is we've got support from the Big Climate Leap, which is a lottery funded project run by Swansea Environment Centre. We've got funding for some work to improve our actions towards net zero. That's not a little environmental project that we'll be doing in the committee. That will really be relevant to the whole council. So I've spoken to Martin about that, and we're really keen to make sure at this point that comes on the agenda of full council, because it'll potentially offer support for what we do. So I don't want that to be seen as a little thing the way we're doing tucked away. Hopefully everyone will get it, all the councillors and all the staff. So we've got support for that, free support, that's fantastic. We've also been successful in bringing in funding for Jubilee Gardens. So Lydia put a funding bid in, and we've got to think about 10k for that. So that will probably commence at some point in the summer. There's a few issues around how we time that out and staff resource to make that happen, but we're hoping to work with residents of Llanfa House, which are opposite. So another good example of community engagement, volunteering, and improving what is quite a scruffy space in a very prominent area, and sort of bringing in external funding to make that happen. So that's great. Gardeners question time is happening later this month, and there's a few little things to flag. in terms of operations, which I'll need to raise with Kerry, and that's becoming really difficult with SA1. Lydia doesn't have access to anything, and just to get our volunteering opportunities out in a timely way is becoming increasingly impractical. So there's a little things that we need to sort out to kind of make things work in a more efficient way than wasting people's time. So that sorting. But then I finally want to emphasize that everything we're doing in that committee is bringing in ideas, is bringing in extra money, and we're supporting local business. So really levering in and kind of make the most of the precept, make the most of that for the people of Mumbles. Thank you.
Well done.
Good job. Thank you very much for that, Helen. Has anybody got any questions, anything they'd like to ask Helen when she's here? I was going to say, Helen, your internet connection is not very good. You were breaking up quite a bit in that. I don't know whether, I know what it's like in Wales, so the internet is a lot of Wales, but
in work,
Maybe we're turning.
yeah, I was going to say, Martin, in work, when I break up, they all laugh and say Swansea Wi-Fi. But clearly it's Wi-Fi, it's probably Wales Wi-Fi.
Everyone else got these Wi-Fi, it just seems to be you. Anyway, Ian's got a question for you.
It's not so much a question. Well done for getting funding for the Jubilee Garden. It is an embarrassment. It would be interesting to know how much money has been put into that project over the years, because it goes back quite a piece of time now. I think we have to be serious about what use you want from that garden. And it's not so very long ago, Councillor Tyler Lloyd and I were shoveling wood chip down there. Now, it is a very small space. It is very overshaded. It's not an easy thing to design, but correct me if I'm wrong. Did you say you've had £10,000?
Ian, I'll dig the figure out and I'll send it. You'll send it around to everybody.
Okay.
It is 10 grand. That might include other projects.
Whatever sum of money you've received, it's welcome anyway, because we're not in a position to really invest it this year. So that's good.
Okay.
Well done.
Pam?
Just like background, as Ian said, that garden relied on, it's been going for years and years and years and years and years, but always relied on volunteer work to help. And we relied on having free plants that Swansea City Council had left over. The only problem was those plants, I am not a plant person, weren't the type of plants that needed to be planted to thrive in that space, which is why everything had to be turfed out and started again. So yes, it is an ongoing project, but lots of it has been done for free and by volunteers and not cost anything at all.
Can I just answer to
Helen, come in.
Ian, because I think Ian's raised a point. And Ian's raised a really good point, which other people in the committee, like Rebecca, she's raised the same point about trying to take forward that way that's a bit more sustainable, perhaps. You know, we've got lots of sites now, and what we don't want to do is invest loads of money in this in 3 years' time. You know, we've got another scruffy unmaintained site. So we'd be happy to follow this up with you, but we are trying to think of a way of taking that forward as a bit more sustainable.
I will, and then Leanne.
Thanks, Chair. Yeah, Helen, just an idea, something to consider. I think the problem is with Jubilee Gardens, where it is, even if it's done up nicely, you know, you meet, 1 metre away from a main road, probably the busiest road in Mumbles. So even if it's a nice, you know, flowery sitting area, it's still going to be, you know, right next to a main road. What I would personally do if it was my decision was put a statue there. I'm not saying a statue myself, but you know, plant the seed by all means. If that's what you guys want to do, you go ahead and do it. But only joking. No, but if you know, I think it's a great place for a piece of public art or a statue. And we can open it out, and you can still keep a low level, maybe a fence against the wall or some kind of trellis against the roadside. And people can enjoy some kind of public art or statue as yeah, maybe a statue's a bit old school, you know, maybe a public art piece or something as you're going along the prom. So just an idea to leave with you there, and just want to say that thanks.
That's very creative.
Yeah, thanks, Will.
Okay, Rhiann?
Thanks, Chair. Hi, Hal. This isn't my question, but who was your internet provider? Because EE is fantastic. Anyway, I just wanted to say. Just mentioning what Will was saying earlier on. We were in Portugal recently, and there was a big fish full of beautiful fish, like a huge fish, full of plastic bottles.
yeah.
You know, rubbish, plastic bottles. So maybe we could do something along those lines. Just an idea. But my question is, I was chatting to Lydia the other day about the litter pick on a Sunday. I don't know if she's had a chance to speak to you, and she said that really the only reason that she's gone with a Sunday is because it was in place before she came on board. I was a bit of an echo there. But I'm super keen for litter picks. And one of the volunteers at Coffee with Friends was also saying that she's keen, but she can't do a Sunday morning. So I'm just wondering, for some people it works, but maybe for other people it doesn't work so well. So just you know, maybe to just put it out there that maybe Sunday morning isn't the best for some people.
Yeah,
Who are
I think
keen?
that's a great
Who are
comment.
keen to pick litter?
Yeah, keen. I think it's up to you and Lydia. So I don't know how we came about Sundays. I think maybe because they've been the days before. I think for each ward to be complete, up to each ward to figure out whatever day suits them. I've got no preference.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sure. All
I'm
right.
sure.
Let's move to Lydia. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Carrie, Jonathan Jones?
Yeah, the grant for Jubilee Gardens, the request that went in was for £19,000.
Yeah.
So I assume that's what we've received.
Oh, well done.
God, I'm sorry. Yeah, I was so off. I'm so sorry. I was so.
Okay. If that's the case, we've got no further questions, we've got no recommendations on this report either. We can move on to the next report, which is the report from the Chair of Culture, Tourism and Communications. Rob?
Okay, thanks, Mark. Main discussions from the last meeting were about Mumble Fest on the 15th of June. So it was agreed to contact all councillors asking for suggestions for artists and bands that they would like us to consider. And we're having a meeting tomorrow night at 6:30 here, where we'll be able to go through, talk through some things and maybe watch some videos as well. It's going to be an in-person meeting in case we show videos, and the link with the big screen here, we had a nightmare with last year, so we decided we'd be doing it that way. You know, it's going to be closed to the public because it's going to be of a sensitive nature, and we'll be talking about artists and bands. But anybody who wants to come will have a chance then to give a sort of, you know, I'd like this person here to the meeting. We've also decided on a host for this year's Mumbles Fest. So it's Beyonce, that's right, but it's Beyonce, yeah. We wanted a drip feed that, Will, you know, don't spoil the surprise. So we also had many discussions. We had one about all 4 wards using living Christmas trees. We have one in Newton on Pickett's Mead, and we thought it would be nice, and we're looking into the cost of buying or leasing these trees. So we will report back on that when we have more. So we discussed the Mumbles tournament starting again from this September. The committee gave me authorisation to contact Paul Ralph at City and County of Swansea, the external funding officer, about a grant to get the project off the ground. The trophy for this is currently in the Mansion House. It was last used when Robert Francis Davis was the mayor, and he won, or his team won, and he took it back to the Mansion House, and he's quite happy for us to have it back. So it'd be a good way of, you know, a tourism thing. This would be, it wouldn't just be for local people. Last time we had teams from all over Swansea, and we could get a city and county team down as well. And it's just a really nice day out. So I've spoken to Paul about that anyway. So this month we were lucky enough to have Paul, our RFO, with us, and we agreed that Paul can only make quarterly meetings. It would be helpful for all councillors if they email Paul with any financial queries in advance of meetings. It would make it helpful when Paul is not in attendance, and would allow the clerk or Ian, our CSO, to provide full update at meetings. So an idea brought to committee by Councillors Zhu and O'Neill, Mumbles Pallet Jubilee, was enthusiastically discussed and we brought back to the March meeting. The committee will look at underspend and vehement to enable this project to go get off the ground. Cheese and wine evening we've put back to after the summer. We've got quite a lot of events to get through at the moment, and we thought with a cheese and wine thing it would be nicer in the lead up to Christmas, where people are shopping for cheese and wine for Christmas themselves. We can make a little festive thing of that. It's not going to cost anything to put on because the ticket sales would pay for this event. A meeting between Paul Whitaker and MCC staff and councillors is to be arranged for March to discuss the current and future expenditure of his events. And then I've just put the action points, the living trees, about emailing Paul with any queries, financial queries prior to the meetings, and for myself to contact Paul Ralph regarding the Mumbles tournament. So that was it.
Well, yeah, two questions. Well, one question and one comment.
Beyonce, sorry.
How do you lease a tree?
How do you lease a tree? This is something, I'm not sure who brought this up at the meeting, but somebody.
Me at one point.
It must be you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, I think it was to do with Gower Christmas trees.
The scheme we were looking at before about the possibility of leasing a tree, where they bring the tree, it becomes a living tree, and then they take the tree back. And you pay a lease on it, and then it's replaced. Okay. Rather than we pay, for a tree each year. We were thinking it was a bit more environmentally friendly as well.
In what way?
Because you're not cutting down a tree, usually that's the end of the tree.
Planting a tree surely sounds even more environmentally friendly.
Yeah.
But
that's why we're looking at
it's basically either supporting local business via that's the upside of that side, and the other side is planting one that's more environmentally friendly. If you don't want it, got it. Okay. Yeah. The other thing is just something to consider. I'm not saying it's a good idea. I'm just saying an idea I had a long time ago. Crazy golf tournament at the same time.
Which idea?
For the kids maybe. So I don't know about competition and stuff, but.
Look.
Okay, Carrie.
Will's just actually. Will's just actually asked the first question, which was about why don't we plant trees, which would seem better. And the other is just a point to note that surely the person who contacts Paul Ralph should be the clerk.
I can answer that, Carrie. I mean, I play for a choir. Paul is in that choir. I speak to him every time I go to choir, so it's a perfect opportunity for me to do it in an informal way. And then I was given permission by the committee to do it, so that's the way we've done it.
I think, to be honest, with the leasing tree idea, it was just an idea and just something that we heard about. We were just thinking about reducing the costs of buying trees every year. And we were just looking at maybe exploring the potential of that and whether there was any potential to reduce the cost. Because I think we identified it was quite a significant cost. We're paying up on buying trees, and of course we're having to replace the trees every time. So we were just looking at expression, and as you sort of said, maybe supporting local businesses, because we've got Christmas Tree Farm not far away.
We should buy the Houses of Parliament. No,
yes, that's true. Helen.
hasn't Ian mentioned before about, Ian mentioned this last meeting, didn't he? Said because there was a live tree that'd been planted on, is it Piccadilly or somewhere like that, and it's done really well. And I love that idea, and I thought, oh, I'd love to get one of them in Wales if we could. So I'm really interested in this, but would love the idea of planting something that could be used year after year after year.
Well, I think that, that's what we're looking at exploring, really.
If I could just, I think the interesting thing about leasing the trees, the thing we got to think about is where the Males tree is, right? Would it look good all year round there? That's the question. And if it doesn't, then maybe leasing a tree is a good idea then, because it's just behind that entrance to Mumbles, isn't it, the Males one? So I'm not saying it has to be there, or I'm not saying my opinion's right or anything, but that's the consideration, isn't it? It's like, if you don't want the tree there all year, then we lease it, and then if we are comfortable, I think the West Cross Green makes sense for one to go there, makes sense for one to go, but it did look a bit sad for a couple of years, didn't it, Ian, before it flourished?
Oh, it was. Yeah.
I think, to be fair, one of our guests was on the council when that tree was actually purchased and planted. It was prior to 2017. I think the issue there was it was a very small tree.
Yeah.
But that was governed by the budget that they had at the time. They haven't been so fortunate as to play with the budget that we've been handling or anything like it. So the proof of the pudding really is that the tree is looking very good now, magnificent this year. And as it's been pointed out to me by certain residents, we talk about green heroes, and yet what is green about having a large Christmas tree, which we chop down, and then it's just there for a few weeks, and then it either goes to the chipper or it goes to landfill. So I think, as Will has suggested, we could trial this. There's nothing to lose. Let's start with a slightly larger tree than what was done in Newton.
Saves money in the long run.
Yeah, well, that's I think what the discussion was about, was the green option, and also the idea of saving money as well.
Yeah.
Okay, then. Well, there's no specific recommendations from that.
No.
It's just the sort of points there. So if those have answered any questions, I can only accept that, and then we move on to the next point of the agenda, which is the exclusion of the press and the public. So can I ask you all to vote if you're in favour of excluding the press and the public to the next item?
That's just because it's personal.
It's personnel issues in relation to staffing issues. So although in favour, yes, that's passed. Okay, Ian, can you?
And if I could ask, is it Judith to leave?
If you click on the buttons in there.
Three dots on the right.
Three dots. You can just stick with the microphone.
Oh, the microphone.
Three dots, that's it.
How does that do? No. Let me just stop recording.